Hello, I'm Michael Rosen. I've written Unexpected Twist, a retelling of Charles Dickens' classic, Oliver Twist. Would you like to hear some of it? This is chapter 1, where we meet our main character, Shona. She's the new girl at school and walks into a new class when they're right in the middle of reading Oliver Twist. Shall we find out what happens? Chapter 1. Hands up who can remember the day they were born. Miss Cavani looked round the class, just as she always did when asking a searching question, her eyes and eyebrows full of hope that there would be at least one person in the room who could answer. As it was early in the day, she was at her breeziest best, and she scanned the room. Class X10 were not expecting this particular question or anything like it, though they were getting used to the way Miss Cavani asked questions you couldn't possibly predict. Rory put his hand up. Really? Really? Miss Cavani said to him. By now the room had started to shuffle and snigger. A few smiles flickered to and fro. The general view was that of course you can't remember the day you're born, and Rory, Rory would say something like that. Yeah, but you don't remember, Creighton said in his usual very direct way. Wait your turn, please, Creighton. Miss Cavani dived into the chat between Rory and Creighton like an agile referee. Yeah, but he doesn't, miss, said Creighton. Miss Cavani's look hovered for a moment as she wondered if it was a good idea to put Creighton on a warning or carry on with her plan to interest Class X10 in birth. She decided to carry on, and her gaze fixed again on Rory. Well, Rory? Rory was now flummoxed and flustered. He muttered something and then swallowed it before it got any further than his lips. Creighton had got him right. No one remembers the day they were born, and the only reason he had put his hand up was for the usual reason he put his hand up, to say something. Anything that would secure for him a moment of approval from Miss Cavani. Why not? Almost everyone thought it felt good to get approval from Miss Cavani. Next to Rory, Harry knew the deal here, and he could choose to join the others, grinning and whispering behind their hands, and he could also take part in the mockery that would erupt when Rory would say, actually, no, I can't. The thing is, Or, if he paused a moment to think about it, Harry could think quickly and save him. Harry put his hand up. Yes, said Miss Cavani. We don't actually remember the day we were born, but there are films where babies are born, and anyway, your parents always tell stuff about how the doctor got your dad's name wrong or a light bulb blew, so even if you don't remember, you kind of know about it anyway. Yeah, said Rory, and Harry heard the smallest of breaths coming from Rory. At that, Harry knew he had pulled Rory out of the fire. He glanced at Miss Cavani, and Harry knew that Miss Cavani had seen what Harry had done there. Hey, it was as good as a well done without a word being spoken. The rest of the class sank back. Harry had cheated them of a small moment when they could feel superior to someone in the endless jostle of school life. A car revved outside, and the voice of an angry van man or cabbie filtered into the room. Serena pushed a note towards Rashida. Miss Cavani missed it. Sometimes even Miss Cavani missed stuff. She missed it because she was glancing down at her lesson plan. The discussion about birth was not going according to the plan, but Miss Cavani was not just a teacher. She had also spent time in some kind of theatre, something that was a source of endless gossip, laughter and mystery in the school. The class had an idea that this theatre thing was what made her different, particularly in the way that it seemed to have given her the power to suddenly change course, switch tack, improvise. She dropped the plan. Stories! Harry tells us that our parents tell stories about the day we were born. True? Untrue? She clapped her hands. Into your talk groups and tell each other what stories your parents, or anyone, maybe not your parents, have told you about the day you were born. Go! The room came alive. As chairs were lugged around, people turned towards each other, the noise level rose, and soon out came stories of dads fainting, the eggs of a pigeon on the windowsill outside the birthing room hatching at the same time as the birth, an emergency birth on a train, a stand-up row about naming the baby, a father who had never been seen since, a terrible moment when someone stopped breathing. Was it the baby or the mother? And on and on. If nothing else, this was a bit of a laugh. Did Harry make up that stuff about being born in a Greek restaurant? Miss Cavani clapped her hands again. And you're here. Just think, you might not have made it. Maybe some of you know sad stories of births that went wrong. But here's another thought. For you to be here now, thousands of people all over the world living before you had to have survived that moment of coming into the world. A question mark raced round the class. What did she mean? Miss Cavani sensed it. Your parents were born. Their parents and their parents and their parents and their parents, going back and back and back, hundreds and thousands of years, all born, all survived. And many times in that long line, people linked to you were within a breath of being snuffed out and ending the line. This was too uncomfortable for Desiree, who began to draw jagged lines on the page in front of her. Rashida passed a note back to Serena. This time, Miss Cavani spotted it, but chose to ignore it. Imagine over 150 years ago in this country, and someone in your line was really poor. Too poor to have a house, a home, a room, or even a shed to live in. No place of their own. They had to live in the... Here Miss Cavani did her raised eyebrow thing, hoping yet again that someone would finish her sentence. In the Odeon. It was Sunil. The Odeon cinema. Oh, he was quick. He loved to wait for gaps when people were talking and dive in with the unexpected. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. This one did. He got the laughs he was looking for. Nearly everyone liked the idea his gag conjured up of people long before films were invented who were so poor that they somehow, miraculously, ended up in a cinema from the future, kipping under the seats and living off popcorn. A frown of irritation sprouted between Miss Cavani's eyes. Sunil had washed away a mood that had focused just where she had wanted it, on coming into the world. Oh yes, of course, Sunil, she said. Or what about the airport? There were airports on every street corner 150 years ago, weren't there? Poor people used to live in the departure lounges. Coming from some teachers, this kind of put-down was loathed. But somehow, with Miss Cavani, everyone rather liked these improvisations. Rashida turned to Serena, nodded and whispered, Saki. Miss Cavani heard it. Saki? She asked. Saki? Hold that thought. Another of Miss Cavani's sayings, like you could hold a thought. Where? How? What in? Or her other one, where she said how thinking on your feet was great, as if thinking sitting down was rubbish. Let's just sort this out, X10. I didn't have in mind the Odeon cinema. I didn't have in mind the airport. But as we've been doing a bit of weird time travelling here, I'm sending you and your parents to the workhouse. Yes, the workhouse. You'll love it. It's like a prison for people who haven't done anything wrong, apart from being poor. And we all know how bad and evil it is to be poor. Rashida turned to Serena again. They had promised each other they would keep count of the number of times Miss Cavani did this sort of thing. Serena again mouthed, Saki. Miss Cavani caught it. Saki? I tell you what, if you think I'm Saki, wait till you see someone being really Saki. Sarcastic, that is. Miss Cavani stopped mid-flow. Or perhaps you'll think it's ironic rather than sarcastic. I wonder, Serena, you can be our expert on such things. Start us off, please. At that, Serena looked down at the page in front of her, paused while a plane went over, and started to read. Although being born in a workhouse is not the most fortunate and enviable circumstance that can possibly befall a human being, in this particular instance, it was the best thing for Oliver Twist that could have occurred. The fact is that there was considerable difficulty in getting Oliver to breathe. A troublesome practice, but one that is necessary to our easy existence. And for some time he lay gasping on a little flock mattress, poised between this world and the next. Now, if during this brief period Oliver had been surrounded by careful grandmothers, anxious aunts, experienced nurses and doctors of profound wisdom, he would inevitably have been killed in no time. There being nobody by, however, but a pauper old woman who was rendered rather misty by beer, and a parish surgeon who did such matters by contract, Oliver and nature fought out the point between them. The result was that, after a few struggles, Oliver breathed, sneezed, and proceeded to set up as loud a cry as could reasonably have been expected from a male infant who had not been possessed of a voice for much longer than 3 minutes and a quarter. There was a rattling, riddling sound from the door handle of the classroom door, followed by the door itself opening. Serena stopped. Everyone looked towards the door.